Hey guys, it's Kimmy here. I just wanted to thank you so much for the comments on my previous opinion video about critical race theory, and I will be making more videos just airing out the things that I think as the world gets crazier and crazier. So if you ever feel like you're going crazy, just know that you're not alone. I too feel like I'm going crazy, but I know that in a way we're kind of being gaslit on a mass scale. So just hang tight and let's air all of these things out. Let's hang on each other, rely on each other, support one another, and say that the emperor has no clothes, okay? No need to be afraid. There's no need to be afraid. I'd rather die on the hill of truth than live a lie. Hands down, any day. All right, so I wanted to talk about a souvenir that I have from work. I got this about 2 years ago and had the pleasure of meeting some of the producers, or not necessarily producer in the musical sense, but creators or restorers of this work. And as you might know from the title, kind of a controversial topic, so if you are triggered easily by slurs and derogatory terms, maybe this video isn't for you, but I do warn you. You have been warned in advance. If you want to turn off this video, you can, but I'm going to talk about 4 Banjo Songs by Charles Asbury. And this is some of the earliest recordings of the banjo, of the instrument, the banjo, in America. As you can see, 1891 to 1897. And there are only 4 tracks on here, if you want to have a closer look. Only 4 tracks. But one of these tracks has a kind of alerting title, which is A New Coon in Town. I don't know if YouTube's gonna censor that. Gonna try and not use the word as frequently, but I just want to, tell you what it is. And inside this really peculiar and rare find, there's a little booklet that explains the work and life of Charles and what he did and the types of music or the kinds of songs that he performed. And so it goes on to discuss all the songs on this little album. But of course, it kind of digs into New in Town and explains the history of that. Now, as I'm finding the page, I just want to say a lot of people are quick to call the critics of critical race theory, ironically, they're quick to call the critics the C word, or Uncle Tom or Massa, and just throw out all these slurs and all these terms to pull back down any black person or any person of color who disagrees with the mainstream narrative of identity politics and wokeness. To an extent, I actually believe we can work on some things with regards to race and culture. But I believe that the approach that we're taking in the mainstream is awful. So if I criticize it, then I get thrown under the bus and I get called the C word. I've been called the C word a few times, and so I'm kind of used to it. But when I read this definition from this little souvenir that I got from work, I was really surprised, and I think you'll be surprised too when you find out. So I'm gonna read it out, and all credits to the liner notes person. I'm not trying to take your shine away. The year 1883 is pretty early for the coon song genre, which hit the height of its popularity in the mid to late 1890s as a backlash against the social progress achieved by African Americans in the post-Reconstruction era. A new in town is not therefore as fully packed with the vile stereotypes that would become the trademark of the genre. The here is a swell or a dandy Some would later insist a pimp, sporting fancy clothes and diamond jewelry, and flaunting his emancipation. And that's where I want to stop. I don't really care much about the actual song. The fact that this full phrase, the term coon is actually from raccoon and it's just meant to be derogatory, but the whole phrase, a new C in town, is an insult against people who are flaunting their emancipation. So think about that in the past and think about the types of people who said that. They couldn't handle a black person progressing past the phase, the stage, the age of slavery. And so they would say, you're the new coon in town, or there's a new coon in town. And then today, fast forward 2021, we get so stressed out when a black person doesn't accept their oppression. We almost kind of hate that they're flaunting their emancipation. And so we want to pull them back and say, hey, buddy, you're not so free there. You can't just go around telling people that you're not as oppressed and you aren't a victim. We need you to realize that there's some chains that you ought to be bound to. Now, tell me what's more racist. Siding with the white people back in the day who hated the idea of slaves embracing their emancipation and flaunting their emancipation, or the people who actually are embracing that? Would you rather side with the KKK who would burn down black businesses because they were flourishing, or black people who were flourishing? Think about that anytime you want to call someone else a C word. Where is that dissatisfaction coming from? Where is that anger stemming from? And maybe look within before you insult without, because that might be the root of the problem. So to anyone out there who believes that they're free, who is stepping out of the chains of victimhood, who might be flaunting their emancipation and getting paid back with insults that start with the letter C, just know that you're not alone and you are on the right path. So here's to more freedom, to more truth, and to just calling this crazy thing out. Just keep calling this crazy thing out, all right? All right, love you guys, and I'll catch you soon.